So here's a video of Marcelo training with Jon Satava. And this is interesting because of all the students at the academy, Jon's game is the most similar to Marcelo's. And you see just, starting from the knees, Marcelo sits guard, he has collar sleeve. He's looking to kind of switch quickly and butterfly sweep to the offside. And Jon counters. He got really heavy with the hips. Then Marcelo looks to sit in and do kind of like a stomp butterfly sweep similar to what he did with Rafael. Jon shifted the weight away and ends up in this kind of reverse half guard. It's interesting, Jon's opting to try to keep his hips off the floor, and I think that's because he has underhook there. And you can see Marcelo's left hand is bundling the hips in, and the right arm is looking to keep the upper body connected, keep the weight over him. And I think he's just going to look to do a big bridge here, probably back towards that corner where Jon's unprotected by his post. Jon's kind of marking that underhook with his left arm. Marcelo switches for the hook inside and starts to bounce the hook higher. And he really kind of approaches that almost just like a butterfly sweep, and switches the hook and reverses and sweeps to the other side. That was pretty interesting. So let's just break that sweep down a little bit more. So right about here, you see Marcelo starts to bounce that hook in. Jon's being protected by the post, and as Jon scissors the hips back, Marcelo switches to block the arm, and he elevates Jon's hips on his shin with the hook blocking to the outside of the leg. So let's look at that again. In the same way as kind of in mid-90s jiu-jitsu and before, there'd be a reverse scissor sweep off of, when someone's sprawled out in your scissor sweep, you could sweep them back the other way, loading their hips over your shin. Marcelo's doing a very similar thing here. So pay attention to the right leg, the position of the right foot right there. Let's go back. So he switches to control the arm. And you can see here how that shin is holding the weight. The foot is hooked to the outside of Jon's hip right there. And then Marcelo is using his left leg, his offside leg, to go in there and just give a little extra push and elevation into the sweep, a little more pop. His left hand is still controlling, Jon's hip and most of the weight. He gives a little, helping hand to finish up there. So really interesting sweep from Marcelo, and Marcelo's landing, heavy into his half guard, likes to pass, heavy to the right side. Another interesting aspect of, his jiu-jitsu and that we should talk more about in the future is the connection between sweeps and passes.